Hey everyone, welcome to Princess of Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with episode 8 of Symphogear G. Yeah. Um, I was told in the comments that apparently this series doesn't let up. And that's kind of why it was chosen as a reward for me to react to. Um, See, I've had this thing in the past, you could say, where I I have issues with when a series just kind of meanders, you could say. When it doesn't get to the point, when it lollygags around, whatever terms you want to use. And so this was chosen for me as a donation reward, specifically because it doesn't do that, specifically because it keeps just going right with the plot, with the story, keeps sticking to the point. And okay, I get that. When I'm like most of the time when I'm saying like I wish it would like let up or give a break or even just like one episode to just calm the fuck down, it's like I'm not talking about the same stuff I'm like complaining about with other series. I'm not talking about like when it's meandering around the plot because they can still build up characters and plot with that time off episode. I understand the concern and everything, but there's a difference here between what I would have liked to see. And don't get me wrong, and like I've said, I've tried to make it pretty clear that I'm still enjoying the series. This constant go 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 is fine for the series. The only issue is me, and I acknowledge that because I have I have mental illnesses and I just can't handle sometimes too much at once. When it becomes like way too much to where it starts to affect me like that's the reason why I took the break from this series because it was affecting me in a negative manner. And I acknowledge that's me. Like, I was the issue there, more so than the show. But at the same time, I do feel like they could have put in something. Because again, season one did this. Season one balanced it out. And it had character development moments that were downtime from the heavy action and excitement. Stuff that built upon the characters. Stuff that built upon their backstories. And I'm sure we're going to get backstories for Dark Magician Girl and Goth Lolly Hatsune Miku. I'm sure we're going to get backstories for them. We're going to find out exactly why they are with Fine, the organization, not the person. And we're going to find out, like, all of their trauma and everything. I understand. Um, we've still got plenty of episodes to go in the season. But I just feel like there's multiple points in this season now that there could have been a full episode break of just developing characters, giving us a lot more with them, without having to just rush into excessive, intense fighting. I'm not talking like just like meandering around the plot. Again, you can still enhance the plot with that. Like I get it. Like let me see if I can bring up this comment here. Um, Give me just a second. 'Cause I just want to see what the exact terms used again were. Yeah, basically you were saying like you might get half an episode of chill vibes, but not a full episode. The only break is between seasons. And here's where you said like sometimes you lament when a series isn't plot focused. It's like, yeah, again, I get what you're saying, but again, slow time does not mean not plot focused. I'm not talking like full random filler episodes where it's like, oh, we're just going to do karaoke and eat ice cream with no sense or logic behind it. No. I'm talking like just downtime episodes that focus on developing the characters and giving us more depth to things and you know, just giving us a time to chill with the characters we've already seen. And important stuff can still be talked about within those types of episodes. Important plot stuff can still be discussed and shown, and you can develop characters in important ways. Honestly, if I'm being completely honest right now, I feel like by this point in the first season, we knew more about Chris than we know about our two new, or technically three new girls now, because you got to count Maria in there. We know so little about them comparatively within this same time frame. Season 1 spent a lot more time developing and focusing on Chris by this point. And again, the downtime moments were part of that. But because season 2 is just, as we've been putting it, go, 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 it hasn't given a time to develop these characters. Again, we know we'll get the backstories. I know we'll get the backstories, we'll get more info on all three of them. But they just feel like less of characters right now than, again, Chris did by the same point in season 1. It's like there's just hints that there's more to them without actually like giving us enough confirmation of that. And I'm not talking about like just having them question things. Because I've seen plenty of things where bad guys have questioned things and then remained bad guys. That's not enough. I want to see like actual development be given, actual like, you know, downtime moments with them. And we saw a hint at that too. When they were at the school and everything and they went into that like singing contest against Chris. It's like if you had an entire episode of that kind of thing, them following around our heroes at the school and spying on them, that would further the plot, and it would be a downtime episode that would give us time to develop these two characters and allow us to connect with them more. Instead, we got like half an episode at best, and honestly, that's kind of pushing it. And it was just not enough. It honestly wasn't. And again, I want to make it very clear. I'm still enjoying the shit out of this series. I still love this show. And I still love these characters. I'm not trying to, like, say all of this to, like, hate on the show or anything. Or to say, like, oh, this show's okay, but it could be a lot better. No, no, no. That's not what I'm trying to say with this. I'm just sharing my thoughts. I'm sharing my issues with the show. Because I've said it before, no show is perfect, and it's actually insulting to pretend like it is. It's insulting to the creators and people who work on a show to pretend like their show is perfect because, like, without constructive criticism, how are they supposed to, improve? How are they supposed to get better and, not only just for the current show they're working on, but for future shows that they work on. We should want them to improve. We should want them to get better. Like that's the goal. We should always be willing to criticize shows. And I'm not talking about being mean, and I'm not trying to be mean. And if it comes across that way, I do apologize. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm trying to be constructive. I'm trying to just share what I think are the issues here that should be fixed. Now, mind you, this series I think is mostly done. Like, there's supposedly a movie coming out in the future or something like that. Um, but I don't know if there's like plans for anything more than that at this point. But the point is, like, again, creators can go on to take these kinds of ideas into future shows. And it's just something that can be spread around as well. I don't feel like I know most creators are not going to see my videos, but I don't feel like it's just about that, because other people will see my videos and they might share that around. It word of mouth is kind of a big thing. um, but yeah, again, I want to make it clear. I'm just giving criticism on a show that I love because I love it. I'm just sharing my thoughts on what I feel could be better about it. And I'm just, again, hoping that there's at least something here and there in the future. And I know you've already told me it's like the breaks are mostly between seasons, and the actual seasons themselves are just kind of go go go. But it's like I just I really want to hope there's at least some moments that we can just like relax at, because it's just like a lot of this has just been very harsh for me, because if it's like this much like constantly, then probably every season's gonna have like a mid-season break. I won't be able to get through a whole season in one go if it's like this. Um, but yeah, for the time being, we're just gonna get into this, hope for the best, see what this episode has in store. Um, See if Professor Ver ever gets killed, and see if Mother ever reforms at all. Because there's very much a lot that is, in fact, she's funny enough, she's kind of almost been developed more than the girls have. Um, with the fact that it's actually showing her regretting her actions and showing that she cares about these girls like genuinely, and realizes that they should not be in these situations. Um, I still think Maria's going to sacrifice herself. That's still my theory. Obviously, don't tell me if I'm true or not, if that's true or not. But that's still my theory. But I'm also starting to think Mother could try to do that as well. Maybe Mother tries to do it, and then Maria like stops her and does it instead. I could totally see that happening. But Mother's also gravely ill, so I don't know. At this point, I just don't know. I'm theorizing. Let me theorize without having to worry about too much with that. You know what I mean. Let's get on with the episode and see what we have. So when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episode. So that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So, yeah, this episode dealt with a lot of mental stuff. A lot of characters going through a lot of thought regarding their place and everything. Kirika is thinking about the sudden surprise ability that came out and how she might be connected to Fine rather than Maria, which is, incomprehensible to her. Maria is going through some shit, especially by the end here, where she's pretty much losing her mind. But, even her mother, knew that this kind of shit was going to happen, because of how she's been pushed and everything. Again, I am very happy that at least Mother can see how fucked up this all is. I think that their goal genuinely is to stop, the moon from killing people and everything. I do genuinely believe that. But again, the way they're going about it is really fucked up. And again, they acknowledge this. Dr. Ver, I feel, is the true villain of this season. He is just so actively evil. There's not a speck of hope in him. Yeah, he's the one who gave that entire speech about, oh, we're stopping the moon from crashing into the earth or whatever the fuck. But, he doesn't fucking care about that. He just likes the chaos. He's just there to see people suffer. He's the one who needs to die. Don't know if he will, but he should. And not just because of that, but also because he's creeping on these children. I'm not getting over that. That fucking disgusts me every time I see it. It's just, that kind of shit bothers me so badly. And I can't let it go. Drugging them is one thing. Drugging them is bad enough. I expect a villain to do shit like that. But then when he's, coming up to them, laying his hands on them and rubbing them, it's the fuck? There is no purpose for that besides being a fucking creepo. It just gives me the willies. It's not okay. Then you had Shirabe, or Gothwali Hatsune Miku, if you prefer, just making me cry out of nowhere. Seriously, that actually caught me super off guard when it happened, because it was super out of nowhere. It's just it was this one line. It wasn't even the only time someone said something like that in this episode. But it's the only time it specifically made me cry. Just her, blaming herself and everything. It's just, alright. Sure. That's a thing. But we get to follow the antagonists a lot during this episode. Just kind of see where their headspace is at. See how things are going. And I'm kind of thinking the failed test that they did to show what they need, to discuss what they need to do next and everything, the one that made Dr. Ver extremely pissed because he's, a bitch. I almost feel like she did that on purpose to see how he would react. I almost feel like that she was testing his allegiance to the actual goal of everything. And I feel like his reaction there gave quite a bit of information regarding that. Not to mention his actions at the end with, the noise and putting everyone in fucking danger, which was not the plan, I assume. Like they obviously wanted to stop the government agents who they knew were going to betray them, but that's probably about it. They knew that was going to happen, but I don't even know if the plan was to actually kill them or not. Because the way that like Mother and Maria seemed to be afterwards, it's like they seemed really like upset by what was going on there. And considering it led Maria into kind of having a little bit of a mental crisis and attacking people, which was shown earlier in the simulation as well as something that fucked her up and something she did not like. Um, yeah, this is definitely leading places. It's pretty obvious. We do touch on our heroes though. We see Subasa just going like full angry, depressed, sad girl moments and everything. Just being really, really upset at Hibiki because she cares so much about her and doesn't want to see her die because she's gone through that shit before and it left her in an extreme state of depression and really fucked her up for a while. Um, but yeah, she really doesn't want to see that happen again, and that's fair. And I can't blame her for getting angry as a response to that. I can't blame her. Her anger is obviously misdirected. Like, obviously, like, it's not Hibiki's fault, but at the same time, it's like, I don't, I don't blame her. She has a right to be upset. And we also see in this Miku is trying to take Hibiki on a date, which, like I said, they're not even hiding the gay anymore. Um, to try and, just have a peaceful fucking day. See, Miku has my goals in mind. But no, it has to be ruined because they happen to be in the exact same place that Maria and Mother were negotiating with the American government, and it's like that's a little convenient, obviously. Well, convenient's probably not the right word, because it was not convenient for anyone. And of course, at the end, we have the little fake out. Hibiki thinking Miku's dead. Miku's not fucking dead. Like, there's 0% chance of that. It's not a thing. It's just a fake out little a fake out cliffhanger. I don't know why my mind blanked there. To just get us enticed to watch more. And more than likely, she found her way to safety after Hibiki fell, or she was saved by Subasa, Chris, or possibly even Maria. I feel like that actually is pretty possible. Um, Maybe the other two, but I doubtful because I don't think they were anywhere around there at the time. They were too busy about to enjoy their instant ramen. Um, but yeah, this was this was a good episode. I mean, nothing against it. I don't really have much else to say regarding it, though. It was definitely some setup, and again, there were like hints at character development without actually taking the full plunge. And it's like just give us these backstories, give us more already. It's not that difficult. We have 5 episodes left to go. It's like we have 3 characters that we just seemingly know so little about. And it's just. Are we going to get all their backstories in the same episode? I don't know. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how this ends, though. But yeah, with the U.S. government agents being taken out, that's going to cause even more problems too. Because now the U.S. government's going to be after everyone. They're going to be, the U.S. fucking government. It's just going to lead to a mess. Anyway, tell me in the comments below, as always, what you thought of this episode. No spoilers. And thank you so much for tuning in. For now, I'm Connie and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.